I love positive updates. This isn't one of them. Let's talk about it. So obviously Adam Schefter released some more information. And whenever Adam Schefter talks, keep in mind this is Trey's side talking. Whenever Mike Florio or other journalists talk, a lot of times it's the Bengals side. But usually what happens is Trey's side will leak some information to Adam. Adam goes ahead and goes on the show, talks about it, posts it out there. We find out what's going on and whether or not it's a good thing or bad thing. This situation is obviously not a good thing. So, yes, the Bengals and Trey are talking. We already know that. But they're not getting any farther along than they were before. And it's to a point where it's like, yeah, they're talking, but both sides are just sitting there disagreeing with one another. He does say, I think there's a disagreement over value. There's also a disagreement over the length of the deal. They can't even find common ground on the length of the deal, which it's going to be really hard for them to ever achieve, a contract when one side says, I want 4 to 5 years, and the other side says, I'm not giving you more than 2. And so I don't know how you're going to resolve that. If you can't even say, hey, listen, let's meet in the middle and do 3-year contract, then how are you going to get that done? Like, they've been talking, like, obviously not all offseason because there's been, issues, but they've been talking the last couple years. They are no closer now than they were a couple years ago. Or whatever, a year ago, whenever, not before they signed the last contract, but this current situation. In a year, they're in the same situation. They still don't agree on anything. No contract structure, no bonuses, no money, nothing. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. You would assume in a year, the least they would come together and say, okay, here's where we think that we can at least agree on. We agree on A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but we don't like this, and this, right? They don't agree on any of that. And unless one side gives up, this is going to be an issue all season. And I don't think that this is going to get resolved anytime soon. And then the second that TJ Watt and Micah Parsons get paid, price tag completely goes up. All negotiations, even if they somehow got a little bit closer on the contract talks, everything goes out the window the second that those guys get paid. So they're talking, fun. They're having a conversation, cool. But both sides are just saying we don't agree with one another at all. We are in the same spot we were a year ago. No difference. So, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. We're not in the same spot because a year ago, this price tag was less. Year later now, this price tag is more money. So, technically speaking, we're not in the same spot as a year ago because a year ago, we would have been able to get him signed for less money. I don't see how the situation gets resolved. Because unless Trey gets another agent, I've said it many times, I think he should fire his current agent and should get Roxy, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins' agent. But not only because of, this could get done faster that way, it's also because I think that his agent is an idiot. And I'm sorry, but it's true. At the end of the day, he's the one who agreed to the 1-year extension with Trey Hendrickson. 6 months after they agreed to that term or that contract, Trey wanted a new deal. Why would you not just agree, or why would you sign that contract if your player 6 months later is going to say, I don't want that contract anymore? An agent's job is to make sure you get the perfect contract that you want, right? Everyone comes together and agrees. Everyone's okay with it. So, I shouldn't say he's an idiot. He's just not good at his job because if he was good at his job, we wouldn't be in this situation. But there is also that, the Bengals said that they'd take care of Trey Hendrickson, and, he signed that with the knowledge that they take care of him. Well, no, they said they'd take care of him after he signed that contract, not before. They said he's, what was it, last offseason they said they take care of him this offseason, but that was after he signed that contract. So there was no knowledge going into that contract that he was going to get taken care of, quote unquote. I see that on Twitter a lot. People are like, well, the Bengals made a promise. No, they didn't. They made a promise last offseason way after he signed his contract. So, yeah. It's a mess, man. It's a mess. But how does it get figured out? 3 Hail Marys. And obviously that's a joke. I don't know. Because the second Watt gets paid and Micah gets paid, which both of those guys are waiting. They're going to get signed most likely by the training camp. And when they get signed by training camp, price goes up. So then Trey's going to come back to say, oh, Bengals, great. Let's talk about our contract. Oh, wait, I want more money now because before, that was before. One side has to cave. One side has to cave and just accept it. Normally in this situation, it would be the player side that would cave and accept it and move on. But I don't know. Because again, like I said, at the end of the day, right, we got to also look at leverage. Leverage is very important in this situation. Trey has no leverage, in all honesty. Like, the Bengals can play this upcoming season without Trey. Will they still be great? Obviously not. Trey is a huge part of our team. But they could still go through the whole entire journey, go through everything, whatever, play this season. Trey, I'm going to sit out. Cool. You sit out, Trey. We're going to do whatever we want to do. Trey can sit there and say, I'm going to sit out. Okay, it's going to cost you money. You're going to lose 1 year of your career in the NFL. You're going to have 0 stats this upcoming year, so it's going to look worse for you when you hit free agency next year. Like, Le'Veon Bell situation needs to prove it to players. Sitting out is not the move. It's not the answer. You don't want to sit out. I know it's like, well, then what should he do? Obviously, that's above my pay grade. But what I will say is sitting out is not the answer. You lose a year of your career, you put up no stats, and you get fined. But you stuck it to the team. No, you didn't, because that team isn't going to give in to your demands anyway. Oh, the situation is so frustrating. See you guys next one. Peace out.